Hello and welcome. My name is Fernandez. I'm currently undertaking my honours in the creative industries at USC. While my study focus is not yet concrete, I'm currently investigating the idea of why stat incrementation is a bad way to do difficulty in first-person shooter games. The method I have chosen to discuss in this presentation is that of practice-based research. I believe this method most closely relates to how I plan to undertake my research topic. Throughout this presentation, the topics I will be discussing are action science, the foundation in history, action science, the 4 stages, the cyclical process of research, practice-based research, what it is, how it applies to my focus, the relative advantages and disadvantages, the comparison between practice-based and theoretical-based methods, and the comparison between practice-based and survey research methods. I hope this presentation will deliver a sharper outline of practice-based research and how you can make use of it in the future. If you're interested in any references mentioned, they are available at the end of the slideshow. Action science, foundation and history. Before we can fully understand the concept of the practice-based method, we must first understand from where it comes. It is one of many branches that comes from the ideal of action science. Action science, as stated by Richard Sager, is a disciplined process of inquiry conducted by and for those taking the action. The primary reason for engaging in action research is to assist the actor in improving and/or refining his or her actions. Put simply, it is the method of doing and taking action to discover new knowledge and discover previously unknown outcomes. Action planning can be broken down into a 4-stage procedure. These 4 stages are the planning stage, the acting stage, the developing stage, and the reflecting stage. You can see here on this diagram the breakdown of the stages. The planning stage allows for the chance to identify and limit the topic, gather information, review related literature, and develop a research plan. The acting stage allows for the chance to collect and analyze the data, while the developing stage is the time to then develop the action plan. Finally, the reflecting stage, we share and communicate our results while reflecting on the process as a whole. This second diagram shows how the 4 stages flow together and create a cyclical process that is the base for action research. Practice-based research, which we are discussing today, takes its lead from cycle 2 of the second diagram. Here we can see that the previous stages of reflection have formed the basis of the planning stage of the new cycle. Practice-based research relies on the previously known information to help form the ideas of your new topic and to help begin the research methodology. Now, what is practice-based research? Practice-based research is unique examination, embrace to acquire new information, somewhat through practical training, and the result of that training and application. While the importance and setting of the cases are depicted in the words, a full understanding can only be acquired with direct reference to the results. Theoretically, cases of investigativeness and commitment to information might be shown through innovative results as plans, music, advanced media, exhibition, games, designs, and displays. Practice-based research focuses on the results that are gained from the practical application of a theoretical subject. The main focus of the practical application is to advance the understanding of the original ideology. This exploration acts as an indispensable piece of scaffolding when building the structure of an idea. Put simply, in practice-based research, the creative act is the experiment, whether or not the work itself is deemed experimental, designed to answer a direct research question about art and the practice of it, which could not otherwise be explored by other methods. The primary focus of research is to advance knowledge about practice, or to advance knowledge within practice. Such research includes practice as an integral part of its method and often falls within the general idea of action research. Smith and Dean, 2009. How does this method apply to my focus? This method is the creation of an artifact that allows the user to show the question and theory in a practical format. This allows for stimulation of ideas to help further understanding of a previously unknown construct. Practice-based research allows for quality assurance in real time to assess bugs and issues which may not be evident in a theoretical setting. A practice-based method is applied often to artifacts in fields such as architecture, game design, the culinary arts, and experimental medical science, just to name a few. In regards to my focus, why stat incrementation is a bad way to do difficulty in first-person shooter games, a practice-based method allows me to create an artifact that actively encourages and furthers my research by creating a physical example of my focus and assists me in constructing a solution to the posed issue. Now, let's discuss the relative advantages of a practice-based research method. Real-world results driven from physical applications rather than theoretical ideas. This way, we get an understanding of a true outcome rather than just predicted results. Having physical artifacts can assist in gathering information and feedback from individuals that are not well versed in that particular field of understanding. Increase the creative control throughout the entirety of the process. Research has also shown that the majority of the population gain greater understanding from physical and visual learning rather than from literature and written information. Therefore, practice-based methods provides this physical artifact that can be used as a learning and teaching tool when attempting to gather more information on a specialized subject. As an example, architects will often provide the public with a visual rendering of a dwelling or building, as people often find it easier to comprehend that over the technical drawings or a blueprint. In comparison to that, we can now discuss the relative disadvantages of the chosen method. Practice-based research often leads to user fatigue. Repeated actions without textual guidelines can cause fatigue in the player/user, which may alter the results of the findings and final outcome. This method may be biased, as it can be weighted in the opinion of the creator. A pure example of this method can be lacking in evidence, substantiating the theoretical ideology. This can lead to an inconsistent research basis or unsupported results. It does not allow for a vast amount of planning prior to the start of the research, as its basis is to gather information and knowledge throughout the process rather than pre-planning the structure of the idea. These are just a few examples of advantages and disadvantages that come with practice-based research as a form of researching topics. This being said, all methods and methodologies have their advantages and disadvantages. And as long as the experiment conductor is free from bias and has a solid grasp of the research they are conducting, there are few real-world applications that aren't benefited from taking a practice-based research approach. With that in mind, it's time to discuss how practice-based method is vastly different to an array of other methods. Let's compare some of these methods and explore these said differences. Firstly, let's discuss the comparison of the practice-based and theoretical-based methods. The first consideration can be that practice-based research is based on forming the idea or theory and proving it through physical applications rather than written literature or research. While on the other hand, theoretical-based research is based on forming an idea or theory and finding research to support this ideology without practical applications. Furthermore, a practice-based method allows for you to test your theory for accuracy rather than forming an opinion without evidential support. While a theoretical approach means you simply assume your educated outcome without having any physical proof of your result. To summarize the differences, practice is applied theory, while theory is abstracted practice. Or, as Dr. Albert Einstein once said, in theory, theory and practice are the same. In practice, they are not. Now, let us discuss the comparisons between a practical base and a survey research method. Similarly to the last slide, these two methods have a vast array of differences and therefore offer each a unique research experience. Survey research is defined as the process of conducting research using surveys. The data collected from these surveys is then statistically analyzed to draw meaningful research conclusions, while comparatively, the practice-based method is defined as the process of gaining knowledge through practical applications. The results from these applications are determined through physical representations of the outcome. When discussing the results of each research style, we must consider that in regard to the survey research style, the results and outcomes can be skewed due to multiple factors. Some of these include the attendance used for the survey, the cultural impact of the area surveyed, and any environmental factors such as political and social events currently being applied. While the practice-based method presents results that are less likely to be impacted by external sources, however, they have a higher chance of internal bias that may be unknowingly added to the physical application by the conductor of the research. To summarize, practice-based research focuses heavily on a real-world, physical application that can be tested by not only the conductor of the research experiment, but also anyone who may be somewhat versed in said applications. It's often found that getting an uneducated opinion of the physical application can help researchers see new and unique outcomes to the focus topics and perhaps guide them in a direction that otherwise would have been ignored completely. Thank you for your attention throughout my presentation regarding the practice-based research method. As stated before, all references used can be found at the end of the slideshow. Thank you. Now that my presentation has concluded, I will use the remainder of the allocated time given to discuss and field any questions that may be regarding the topic and points covered today. However, if you cannot think of any questions at the moment, fret not, because I will be available at a later time to answer any future queries that you may think of. Thank you again for your time.